Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Bench, this abbreviated version of Benched. Angel is in a closet somewhere. I'm at home.
Don't say that out loud. People think that's not what it means.
Right. He's actually in the
for
closet.
noise control reasons. I'm in the closet. That's not.
I'm at home with a couple sick toddlers, so celebrating the Super Bowl very different this year, but celebrating nonetheless. 40-22, a complete booty whipping by the Philadelphia Eagles. Go ahead.
And don't let that score fool you. It's not close. It was not 40-22. It was 40-6.
Yeah, an honest score is 40-6, maybe 40-12. But after that, they were scoring against literally the backups.
Sidney Brown was giving up deep shots. Yeah,
Kenny Pickett took the last. Yeah, Kenny Pickett took the last couple snaps of this game.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the most surprising Super Bowls since the Seahawks Broncos, where the Seahawks just blew out Denver. It's like that realm.
Surprisingly interesting word to use because, listen, man, I mean, not gonna take too many victory laps here because whatever, the Eagles won, and I'm just gonna enjoy that. But like I said, the Eagles were just the better team. We looked at it, we looked at all positions, and you can overthink it, and you can try to, well, Mahomes is so good, and he's gonna make up for all the reasons why this Eagles roster was better, and let's just be common sense people here. The Eagles were just better. We knew that going in, and yet the Chiefs had us scared of their magic, and the magic ran out in the Super Bowl.
It never showed up. It didn't show up. Not one point in the game. You're like, oh, that's some of the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. You didn't see any of it. From Spags, from Andy Reid, from Mahomes, you never saw a moment in the game where you're like, the Chiefs could come back and win this thing.
Yeah, the casual fan and the Chiefs defender is going to look back at this game and see that Patrick Mahomes finished with 257 yards and 3 touchdowns and think, come on, we're being a little hyperbolic, we're being whatever. No, this was a complete ass whooping in a Super Bowl, maybe like we've never seen before. It was insane to get in some of the numbers. Wild. We want to just kind of be a little bit more surface level on this podcast. We're going to get together with the guys in the studio, shoot an entire podcast, more in-depth, looking at some things. I wanted to shout out a couple things. The first thing is this: Jalen motherfucking Hurts. Jalen Hurts tonight probably had one of the biggest critic silencing performances I've ever seen in person. I mean, it's shocking how well he has done the last 2 playoff games when the world has called him the weak link, when the world has called him the reason why the Eagles weren't going to win, and he just delivered tonight without a running game. It was him, his arm, making big plays, taking shots down the field, moving the chains with first down throws. He was unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, he had the one errant throw that was the blitz, Bolton up the middle. But besides that, good against the blitz, and they were blitzing him. Good against the blitz, good outside the pocket on third down with his legs or throwing the ball. He killed the Chiefs with his legs. Third down, he was converting a bunch of third and longs.
11 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and we were talked about in the show prior how the Chiefs had a problem with running quarterbacks.
Yep.
Now it's proven today. Yeah, they shut down Saquon, but you have to shut down both Saquon and Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts.
I mean, the Chiefs did exactly what everyone knew they're going to do. They dared the Eagles to beat them with Jalen Hurts. They sold out to stopping Saquon. Saquon tonight, 25 carries, 57 tough yards. He was grinding. Not, I think, a positive in the sense that there wasn't very many negative plays. It was just 2 or 3 yards and nothing. No, these marquee huge gains from Saquon that we had grown kind of used to seeing, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Jalen Hurts did it had the big plays with his legs. Like you said, huge first downs, like back-breaking first downs multiple times. And that's the problem sometimes when you blitz a mobile quarterback is that you got to live with something. And it was Jalen Hurts running tonight. But let's not get it twisted because people know Jalen Hurts can run the ball. 221 on 17 of 22 for 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception. He was fantastic through the air tonight. He was accurate. He was decisive. That first drive, when I saw him roll out, buy time, and hit Devontae Smith for a first down, I knew Jalen's locked in.
Yeah, these are kind of games where we wish like quarterbacks like a Brock Purdy, a Justin Herbert, a CJ Stroud would have these games where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go toe to toe. I made a mistake. I'm coming back with it. Jalen Hurts put himself in a different tier. He's no longer in the Philip Rivers, Matt Ryan circle. He's above that.
I have a question for you. And me and you really haven't had this conversation. So I have this honest question. Is Jalen Hurts now, after this, listen, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. He's outplayed Patrick Mahomes in both. He's defeated the Spagnuolo defense in both. Has an incredible win percentage. Is he now in that tier with the Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes?
It's tough because he's not ever going to have like 35 passing touchdowns. Or at least he hasn't had it.
Right.
That's what would hold me back. But he's just sometimes winning is just winning. Like he's like what the Niners think Brock Purdy is. Like he goes there and he wins it. It's different. It's like I think he's more. He's just a winner, and I think that deserves to be in that realm of quarterback with Josh Allen, with the Lamar Jacksons, and because look, for all the praise we give Lamar Jackson has never done what Jalen Hurts just did twice in a Super Bowl. Go to Super Bowl, show out, and this one he actually won it. He was a better quarterback. He wasn't rattled. He was calm, cool, collected. You had a mini AJ Brown blow up. You didn't even notice it because next drive he went down there and like scored. So yeah, I would put him in the top tier for sure because he's a Super Bowl winner. You can never say anything. He MVP. Won the Super Bowl. You can't ever say anything.
And he was a Super Bowl MVP.
Exactly. Like there's like people who are gonna say that he's not Josh Allen. Like, well, he has more championships than Josh Allen. He's been there less.
In a game with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, his own teammates, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts was a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And I think, listen, if you're listening to this and maybe you could learn something in the sense that Patrick Mahomes do for 257 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts for 221 and 2 touchdowns. And one of these quarterbacks was dominant and the other one wasn't. And it wasn't the one with the better stats.
Yeah.
It is not about the box score. And that should play into a lot of like conversations and arguments you're going to have, but you got to watch the game. You got to understand what these guys are doing. And Jalen Hurts tonight was the dominant performer with inferior numbers.
Yeah.
And people need to realize that is possible too. And so when I'm sure we had this argument over the summer with people who don't want to still give Jalen Hurts his flowers, put him into elite tier, you got to understand you can be elite on the same field and have inferior numbers. You can be the better quarterback and have inferior numbers. And Jalen Hurts is a walking testament to that. Like I'm so impressed with him. I'm so happy for him tonight.
Yeah.
By the way, we were talking about this before the game. On the sideline, watching him win his first Super Bowl, the man that he replaced in Philadelphia, Carson Wentz. That has to hurt.
Yeah, that's second time that Carson Wentz has been outdone by his backup quarterback.
Real
quick on the other side. This does not help the.
Real quick, before you move on, I saw Nick Foles also tweet. Nick Foles dunking on Tom Brady. This is the second time Tom Brady's been in the house for an Eagles Super Bowl. And he called them the Eagles' good luck charm.
He probably It's true. It's true. Nick Foles, big dick Nick. He can say whatever he wants, man.
What did you want to move it to?
Just really quick on the other side. Jalen Hurts. This hurts Patrick Mahomes' case for greatest of all time. This hurts Travis Kelce's argument for greatest of all time. This hurts Andy Reid's argument. Like to get blown out coached on defense, offense, every single they got worked, and it wasn't close. The score is not indicative of what happened on the field. So,
I mean, they were shut out for a half, and most of the third quarter.
Yeah,
like it was really bad at halftime. The Eagles had more points, 24, than the Chiefs had net yards. They had 23 net yards at halftime. They didn't pass the 50-yard line until the third quarter.
Yeah, until that one deep pass to Xavier Worthy.
Who played well tonight. Good.
Yeah, Worthy played. He was probably the only bright spot in the whole defense.
8 catches, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Most of that was against the Eagles backups, but he was playing consistently well the whole game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it does hurt all those cases for the GOAT conversation. And I'll raise my hand and say I was wrong because I said no matter how this game went, their legacies are kind of already cemented to a point. But I think the biggest loser
we didn't see
tonight,
this coming.
But we didn't see this coming. That's the point. It was 40. What was it? Almost 6 at some point.
Yeah, it was like not even competitive. Honestly, if it wasn't your team, it's a boring Super Bowl to watch because it wasn't even. It was. I remember I was seen by someone who was saying, "Man, maybe they should have been the Bills. Maybe this would have been a better game." Like it was honestly like maybe they should have been Baltimore. Maybe it should have been the Bengals if they would have made it in. Like it just wasn't. They weren't on the same level of team.
And I mean, to the GOAT conversation, we never saw Tom Brady have a Super Bowl like this.
And we never saw Tom Brady have a down season where he doesn't throw like 30 touchdowns. And
he had a down season. He had the worst Super Bowl showing, of his young career. Yeah. And he's playing in a different tier already. He's already better than 99% of the quarterbacks we've ever seen playing the game. But we're talking about GOAT conversations.
Top of the mountain.
Yeah. And if you're going to overtake a Tom Brady who went to 9 or 10 Super Bowls in his own right, won 7 of them. Yeah. I mean, you can't lay an egg. And I don't care. I don't care that your offensive line was hurt. I don't care that I don't care any of the excuses because we heard it all going into game that Patrick Mahomes is going to get it done. He get it done no matter what. No one wanted to talk about how Patrick Mahomes struggled all year, how this offense struggled all year. The question marks in everyone's mind was on the Eagles side and not on the Chiefs side. And this was really bad for Patrick Mahomes' legacy. Really bad.
Yeah, 100%. This is bad. And I kind of felt bad for Andy Reid because he's a good coach, but he just wasn't even on the tier. He wasn't even. I don't know his game plan. They didn't want to run the ball. Obviously, they should have ran the ball. They didn't.
Hey, let me give you some numbers on that. Kareem Hunt 3 carries. Samaje Perine 1 carry. Isaiah Pacheco 1 carry.
Yeah, that's not enough. I know, but Mahomes is great. But even Tom Brady had to have a running game. Even the greats had to have running games, had to have complementary football because you need a play action. You need things to help your offense. And they were just saying, Mahomes, go back there and make things happen. Against a defense like this, Fangio was frustrating Mahomes. They sacked him like 6 times and they didn't blitz.
They sacked him 6 times, did not blitz 1 single time.
Yeah. Tooney got exposed. They're out there. Jawan Taylor reverted back to what he usually is, and that's a kind of an average to below average tackle. It was bad. Trey Smith could not handle Jalen Carter. He was holding him the whole game. They only called like 3 of them.
Yeah. It was pretty apparent. How do you think? Okay, this honest question. How do you think the refs did tonight?
I think at first they were kind of pushing calls like the first offensive PI to AJ Brown. That was hand fighting, and then the personal foul when it was Cook against Goddard on that out route. That wasn't a personal foul. But after that, they were fine. I like the way the refs. I think they called it better in the second half. They let the boys play. And honestly, it's a blowout game, so it's hard to judge the refs because it's so lopsided.
Right. Nick Sirianni. We got to talk about Nick.
He is what people think Kyle Shanahan is, like a superstar head. Like he's a superstar head coach, but people won't give him that. They think Kyle Shanahan is that. But that's what Nick Sirianni is. They think that Matt LaFleur and that these coaches never won on with good teams. That's Sirianni. He's been to 2. He has good roster, and he's won 1 against Patrick Mahomes. This helps out Sirianni you beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. How many teams can say that?
Yeah.
Like in the last 5 years. Go ask Josh Allen. Go ask Lamar Jackson how much that happens.
And I mean, people want to say, well, Vic Fangio, and all of a sudden everyone loves Kellen Moore. And it's not, but listen, it has to be something to be said that this team, when they were healthy, was just consistently good. This year, when Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown played, undefeated. They did not lose with those 2. And that's the head coach. That's culture. That's consistency. That's buy-in. That's a whole roster believing in your message and going into a game, the biggest games of the year, ready to play. Now, Nick Sirianni, 54-23 after his win, the number 1 winning percentage among any active head coach and a Super Bowl champion. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear anymore. Well, there's this reason, and they're arguing on the sideline, and he does weird, goofy stuff in press conferences. I don't want to hear it anymore. The guy wins. The guy, all he's ever done is win. He is a little goofy. He is a lot Philly, but he's one of the best head coaches in the NFL, and it's a joke that he's consistently not even mentioned in Coach of the Year awards. It's a joke.
Yeah, and we saw him blow up at AJ Brown, and we were just all like, "This is just what they do. They're just an emotional team."
Didn't flinch.
Yeah, and he's like, "No." Then they came back. AJ Brown scored a touchdown. Everything's fine. Yeah, this is how they are.
AJ Brown dunked it with Gatorade.
Like their leaders, besides Jalen Hurts, are emotional guys. Yeah. Jalen Carter, AJ Brown. These guys are like CJ Gardner-Johnson. They're very emotional, like vocal guys. That's why it works, because Jalen Hurts is like the quiet, calm one.
That's what I was going to say.
We saw the perfect storm tonight of a good team, well coached with talent, and it overtook the whole Super Bowl.
Let's talk about Fangio and this defense, man.
Yeah,
they were incredible. I know you brought it up, but like, I mean, who particularly stood out to you? Obviously, Cooper DeJean getting a pick six while turning 22 is insane.
Yeah, happy birthday, kiddo.
D-line was crazy, but anything else stand out to you?
Jalen Carter needs to be talked about in a different way. He's incredible. Against Trey Smith, who's a very, very good guard.
Very good guard.
Yeah, so Jalen Carter's good. Josh Sweat, you say he might be free agent or might be moved.
Yeah,
great day. Nolan Smith is good. Nolan Smith's going to be a good sell piece.
We saw the rookie Jalix Hunt get a lot of tonight. And then they'll have
and then, Bond, obviously, he's about to get paid. The Eagles or somebody. He's an incredible linebacker. This is a good roster.
He just showed up again. He showed up every playoff game. Like the
Eagles, they're good. They're a good, smart team. They're gonna find a way to make. There's no way they let them walk.
Okay. I want to bring that up too, because a man who needs to get a lot of attention tonight, who we haven't even brought up, and shame on us, Howie Roseman.
Yeah,
this roster. The guys who stepped up tonight, the moves he made, the Zach Bond move, even I kind of rolled my eyes when they brought in Zach Bond.
And then cut Devin White because they had Zach Bond.
They cut Devin White for Zach Bond.
Yeah.
Think about that. They had a major weakness last year in the secondary. He goes and gets Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Both start in the Super Bowl for them.
Yeah.
Jalix Hunt, we talked about bringing in Mekhi Becton to make this one of the most dominant offensive lines we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like Howie Roseman deserves a lot of credit for this team being consistently one of the best rosters in the NFL.
Yeah, it's through and through one of the best performances I've seen from a team, and the roster construction. He's been a good GM for a while. He'll do something on draft night that will impress us. But what really will impress me is if he finds a way to keep Zach Bond. Zach Bond is a all-pro type of linebacker, and he proved tonight. He picked off Patrick Holmes with the help of Josh Sweat. So
it was a big pick too. They had a chance to get some points on the board and then get the ball in the second half and
in the red zone.
Game.
Yeah. We're gonna break it down more, but just a complete thorough ass whooping. That's all you can talk about.
I have two shout outs. Shout out number one, Brandon Graham, most likely going to retire.
Yeah,
work his ass off to get back for the Super Bowl. Is most
would have
likely
had a sack if they didn't hold him, but they're holding everybody.
So shout out to him. What a career. I'm going to buy the jersey. I'm going to get whatever I can autographed. That's one of the best Eagles all time to go out like this. Good for you, buddy. And then shout out Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott was phenomenal tonight.
Like 7 or 8 times, nailed all of them. And half of them were
he kept having to redo kicks. Ended up the night 4 for 4, hit one from 50. He was solid and made some big kicks where obviously it was never close. So no kicks were super high tension, but kicks were okay, if you miss this, it's the kind of thing that leaves the door open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That type thing.
He nailed all but one snuck into the right up to the right post. But besides that, he nailed all of them.
Okay, we talked a lot about Eagles, rightfully so. We'll probably talk more with them in the next podcast with AJ and everyone. Let's talk about the Chiefs a little bit more before we wrap this up. Going forward, are we just in a run it back mode still? Does Kelce retire?
I see them running it back. Kelce's was iffy already about coming back. He didn't.
You think he retires?
I don't know if this wants to be. His brother retired on a bad season, so maybe he will too. But I don't know. I think they're different. I think they need to be aggressive to get a running back or commit to a running game, because I don't think that was one of the biggest things, is that they haven't solved tackle in a long time.
Yeah.
Last year, obviously, they had Donovan Smith and Dwan Taylor, and they made it work. This year, tuning to left tackle didn't work. He was getting worked. The inside guard, Al Gray did fine, but Trey Smith was struggling. Dwan Taylor struggled. So
Mike Kelly
offensive
got
line,
eaten up by everyone.
yeah, defense was fine. I think McDuffie's not as good as we think. I know that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Him and AJ Brown. It wasn't close. It wasn't close.
Yeah, even Devonta Smith had some big plays on him. Like,
yeah, I think they bought their own hype a little bit. Like, oh, we're gonna three-peat. We're the Chiefs. We could keep anybody. Yeah, I think this is a wave call. I think they'll be back next year. I don't have any doubt that they'll be a good team next year. It's just maybe with Rashee Rice, maybe they could tackle wideout even more aggressively this offseason.
I think they're solid at wideout. I like what you said about kind of changing their identity a little bit, investing in the line, get a little bit more dominant running back, someone who could take over a game a little bit. Pacheco, even when he touched the ball, was just like loud.
They need that. They need someone to balance it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So they're the Chiefs. They'll be fine, but there's a few things that they could tweak, fix, and I don't ever expect them to be blown out again in the Super Bowl like this or embarrassed like this before. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Chiefs. I think they're fine though. They're the Chiefs.
I would cut a lot of these vets that you had to rely on this year. You had to do what you had to do, but I Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know. Even Marquise Brown. Who knows if they're really into him?
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt. I would get fresh legs if they go into next year thinking Isaiah Pacheco is all they need at running back. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah. I think what helped them last year was that they had Pacheco and McKinnon. I know they won the Super Bowl with him, but without him. But McKinnon was solid. McKinnon's nice for. They need another playmaker in the backfield. That's what kind of set them apart. Yeah. And next year, obviously, get Rashee Rice back. David Worthy year 2. Huge. I think keep drafting a wide out there. I think you can redo it and get younger, fresh legs. When Rashee Rice was on the field, he was a difference maker. He was running the Travis Kelce route that Hopkins couldn't run tonight.
Travis Kelce was really bad tonight.
He just looked old.
He looked slow. Yeah, he looked old. He looked slow. He looked frustrated. He looked like he was on the field with much younger men who were just faster than he was.
Yeah. It was tough to see.
I think I can't imagine he'll come back for another year. If he comes back another year, it's a total I just need another championship type thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame him, though.
Yeah. We're going to come back. We're definitely going to cover this in more, greater depth in the future here. It's 10:45 on Sunday night. We both need to get to bed, but we're going to record another pod for sure. Any other thoughts before we sign off?
Nope. Kendrick Lamar. We'll cover Kendrick Lamar's halftime show.
Quick thoughts. Rating 1 to 10.
Yeah, good. 7, just 7 or 8. It wasn't the greatest I've ever seen. It was more culturally relevant because he went out Drake. So that's kind of why I don't think I'd watch it again. But I think it was solid. I thought it was solid.
That's what I thought too. I thought, okay, unless you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, you didn't like this. But if you were a Kendrick Lamar fan, you're lying if you gave it anything more than a 7. So
yeah, it's like below Usher, below Rihanna for sure.
They Not Like Us was by far the best thing.
Yeah, because it was like everyone knows the beef to him and Drake. Yeah. That's what I was kind of.
So that was because that was a cultural moment. That felt like the only thing that transcended. Everything else just felt like this is kind of just like a regular concert.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. I think a 7 or 8. I'm not gonna. It's not the greatest of all time. It's not touching.
Can we agree? Samuel L. Jackson was a major miss.
I liked it.
Really.
That's Kendrick Lamar's style. He's all about he's all about the storytelling with his songs, and you think they got but he does take you out of it though because he's Samuel L. Jackson. But we'll talk about it more.
Yeah. That's all we have for right now. We'll get back with another episode, more Super Bowl coverage, and then we're diving into trade deadline and then full speed ahead for the draft. It was a great Super Bowl. Eagles are champions again, second time in my lifetime. Shout out to all those Eagle fans who spent all those years from 1960 to 2017, never saw a championship. I am certainly lucky. Me and my family have now seen 2 Eagles championships in 5 years. Awesome. Blessed tonight. I'm going to sleep well.
Yeah, incredible.
And then off to Broncos offseason. Let's go, baby.
Yep, Bo Nix loading up. The season begins now.
All right, we'll see you guys on Tuesday with a brand new episode. Until then, go Birds, go your team, and subscribe to the Bench channel as we jump into everything now in the offseason. As we jump into everything offseason, including all the moves that your team needs to make. Let's do it.
Yep. Peace.
Sorry, one more thing. Sorry. Congrats to you, Ange. Me and you. 2 seasons in the books. Bench podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This wraps it up.
Yep. Look forward to it. I don't see us stopping anytime soon.
214 episodes, and we're only getting started.
Oh, yeah. Only getting started.